I'm about to share with you my coast disease story. My name is Jessie Veronica Willett. I'm 18 and from East Sussex in the UK. Everyone has a story, some good, some bad, and some worse than others. Like everyone, I have a story, but mine's an unusual one. I was born on the 10th of January 2001, 6 weeks premature and weighing just £4 7 ounces. I was kept in an incubator for a while, but apart from that I was a healthy baby like my twin brother Marcus. The first 2 years of my life were good and I was a healthy toddler brought up by my mum. It wasn't until after 2 years that my mum noticed something wasn't quite right. Apparently all I wanted to do was sleep and keep my eyes shut all the time, and my mum noticed there was a squint in my right eye one day when I was watching TV. She spoke to the health visitor, but they just brushed it off and said that a lot of children get squint. So my mum took me to our local hospital. However, they told us that the situation was out of their hands and I should be taken to London Hospital. During this period I had tests done and we found out I had coast disease at just 2.5 years old. I had surgery at 5 years old to correct the squint in my coat's eye. After this, I carried on like a normal child would. However, when I was in my second year of primary school, this all changed. When I was just 7 years old, I noticed that people would stare at me, especially children, and it made me so unhappy and wonder why I didn't look like everybody else. So at 8 years old, I started wearing a contact lens to cover my eye so that I could look like every other 8-year-old. Looking back, it makes me so sad because no 8-year-old should be worrying about what they look like. Things seemed to get a little easier from then on. I was happier and I didn't get asked as many questions. The contact lens saved my childhood. It made me so much more confident, and it was painful at times as well as uncomfortable when I was tired, but apart from that I really couldn't fault it. I became very much dependent on the contact lens and wouldn't go anywhere without it in. I remember we had to have swimming lessons in year 4 and I refused to go because I couldn't take my contact lens out and risk other classmates seeing. The teacher wasn't understanding and told me I'd get in so much trouble if I didn't go. All I remember was feeling so anxious and upset. My teacher had no idea. This shows how much I relied on the lens, which is unfortunate because when my eye got infected, then I'd have to take time off school. But luckily this didn't happen too often in primary school. Secondary school was a different story. It was really hard for me. I used to get bullied a lot and people made a lot of nasty comments like your eye is stupid, weird and even creepy. This hurt me a lot. I struggled a lot during secondary school, and the sad thing is, none of the teachers could understand, but I can't really blame them because my condition is so rare. However, a lot of the time they would get angry with me for missing a few days of school when my eye was bad and I was in extreme pain. I missed out on a lot of fun things like sleepovers, swimming and even year 9 camp with school because I was so afraid of people seeing my eye. Year 11 was the hardest time of my life. I was just 15 years old. I had my first boyfriend that I was head over heels for. However, he didn't know about my eye. I hid my hair over half my face to cover my eye most of the time because I didn't want him to ask questions and then leave me when he found out. He found out a couple of weeks later and of course he left. At the same time as this, there were rumours going around my year and people calling me a slag and other horrible comments for literally no reason at all. This led me to self-harming and wanting to take my own life. It was a battle even attending school at this point. About 2 weeks after this happening, my gran passed away. It felt like the world had all come down on me at once. My heart broke. My dad left when I was just a baby, so the people I grew up with were my mum, my gran and my twin brother Marcus. I felt like I could tell her anything, so when she went to heaven it felt like I'd lost a second mother. So yeah, year 11 was extremely tough and certainly the worst time of my life, and I'm so proud of myself for making it through that year. My eye began to be painful towards April 2017, just before I was about to start my GCSEs. Despite this, I had to power through the pain, and this paid off because I came out with A, B and C grades. After all year 11 had thrown at me, I was so proud of myself. The following September, I started college. I studied creative media level 3. I enjoyed it because I made a few friends that made me happy. I was shy at first, but then came out of my shell. Meeting new people was always so hard because of my eye and how conscious I was. One of my friends even told me that he only attended college because I was exciting. This made me happy, but still I was keeping this massive secret. Nobody knew about my eye, and I continued to get so many questions on it and what's wrong with it. For some reason, I became extremely sensitive to these questions, which is weird because I should have been used to it by now. I guess I was just still finding it really hard to accept my condition. Nobody really saw that I was actually really struggling with life, not even my closest friends. Nobody knew that I would sit on the floor of my bedroom in the dark and cry when I got home from college. I was always that fun, bubbly person to be around, but at home this was a different story. I was trying so hard to hide my pain at college. I always seemed so loud because I didn't want people to see the real me, the me that was hurting and the me that hated myself. I remember having a laugh with one of my friends in class, and a girl said to the people around her that I'm such an attention seeker. Again, this really hurt me. All I wanted to do was get through that day to make things just a tiny bit easier and to mask my true feelings. Soon enough, I started realising that I needed help dealing with the way I was feeling towards myself. I always used to look at the mirror and say, why did this happen to me? Even though this was just over a year ago, it really hurts looking back at those times of my life. I spoke to the doctor and got diagnosed with anxiety and depression, which I really wasn't surprised about. My eye had brought me down so much. I felt so useless. I didn't have a job. I hadn't started driving lessons like everyone else my age. It made me feel like a waste of space. I didn't even want to do any of these things. I was so insecure. My twin brother had done both of these things, so I really did feel like a failure. Why couldn't I just be like him? Now in 2019, I finished my media diploma, started driving and even have a part-time job. As well as this, I have an amazing boyfriend who actually accepts me for who I am. I don't even have to wear my contact lens around him. I'm incredibly grateful for you, Callum. If it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be sharing my story. You've given me the confidence to accept myself, and I can't thank you enough. Living with Coats disease is like being on a never-ending roller coaster. You never know what lies ahead. I can't say life has been easy living with this constant eye pain and infections and excruciating pain at times, as well as being anxious and depressed from a young age. But I just remember that there are people out there going through so much worse. I am grateful for what I have. This seems like nothing compared to what some people go through, and I think that's a big factor that made me accept my condition. I'm so thankful for my friends and family around me. You know who you are. My eye has been excruciatingly painful for about 10 weeks straight now, so I'm going to Brighton Hospital in a week to talk about finally getting the eye removed, as I've been told that there's nothing else that can be done for me to make it less painful and bearable, so I don't know what next year holds. I've just turned 19 and I'm at my last stage of Coats disease. I had the appointment at Brighton Hospital and it turns out that there is more that can be done for me. I had a long chat with my new doctor and I'm having my yellow glow removed to make me feel less self-conscious. I've been in excruciating pain wearing a cosmetic contact lens to hide my Coats eye, and it's made the lens impossible to wear as my eye has had a constant infection for the past few months. I'm feeling so blessed and grateful for this opportunity. I was so close to giving up, as the past 4 months has been the biggest rollercoaster yet. I just wanted to give you all an update and let you know that things do get better no matter what happens. Stay strong and find the little light there is in the darkness when things seem to be going so badly. I've stayed strong through these awful few months and went into 2020 thinking that it's going to be an awful year because of my bad eye. But now there's some hope for me, and I hope there is some hope for everyone else suffering too. I wish that 2020 is a year of good luck for you all, and if there's anyone here wanting a chat, then I'll always be here. I just want to help as many people as I can. You never know what somebody is going through, so always be kind and never nasty. Think before you make a comment and ask yourself what you would feel if someone said the same thing to you. You never know what could be the last straw.